All right, so the US Copyright Office, the way it works, you make the thing, right? So if it's a song, you make a book, you make a film, as soon as you actually create it, you have copyright automatically. So that's the great news. The reason why we actually go and register with the Copyright Office is because it gives us all these additional benefits. It's a prerequisite if we want to actually sue for copyright infringement, meaning you got to do it first. But then also, if you do it way too late, you might miss out on statutory damages. So basically, the law says you get big chunks of change if you sue and there's been copyright infringement, all these things. So the Copyright Office is probing registration. So they're looking at whether they want to cancel a copyright filing for an AI generated graphic novel. So as of the recording of this episode, we're waiting for a determination from the Copyright Office. But basically, they're saying the person who made this graphic novel relied on AI. And so there was not an actual human participating in the creation of the thing. And that's required, right? So under the Copyright Act, they say there must be at least a modem or a very small amount of creativity in the creation of the thing. And so we've had conversations on prior episodes talking about like if someone accidentally started recording themselves and they created a video, do they have copyright in that thing? Because even though they made it, they didn't mean to make it. So there's all these little nuances. So back to the question of, well, just because an AI created something, well, you clicked the button, shouldn't you have copyright ownership? What do you think?
I think it's kind of crazy. I think in the case that we're talking about, I think she used that program Midjourney, which we were talking about when we were talking about the Lensa app, just these AI programs where you type into things, the criteria of what you want, and it'll generate artwork for you. And so I don't know if the creator of this graphic novel like wrote a story. I think they maybe wrote some of the story, and then they just had the actual, the comic graphic novel aspect of it being drawn by Midjourney. I don't know. I think it's a dangerous path. And then you get into music aspect of it too. And a lot of AI music is going to be using for sync because it's a lot easier to pay artists to pay AI and just generate the kind of vibe you want than to pay someone to actually make something, whatever. But I don't think AI music is necessarily there yet.
Bree says, but isn't there creation in what you feed the AI? Good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's very specific to what we're talking about. So in this case with the graphic novel, they're saying the important piece of this is whether a human actually did it. If a human didn't, then we can't say that there's copyright that attaches to it. So then we look at, well, even with the app, right, that was generating images that went viral based on portraits. And so they're saying the AI, well, in the program, they're using paintings that other people created. And then, that's copyright infringement in itself. But at the end of the day, the end result was still based on someone else's picture, right? Did they make it? So that's why this is so interesting to kind of follow, because right now it's a little clearer. I think that we can say, because no human actually participated in the creation of the graphic novel, then it's an uphill battle for the creator.
Just look at it like this. So in my lifetime, I've seen the old Ataris and I've seen these new crazy Xbox to like these, to 3D video games and all this kind of stuff that you can get into just as fast as technology progresses. And when you start incorporating AI so it can, keep learning and teaching itself and it just starts writing its own code, I think that's when you're going to get into some crazy stuff because it's going to do is just keep advancing. I mean, it's just insane how fast technology goes that we can't even keep up with it. And the law definitely can't keep up with technology. We haven't even got all the regular music stuff completely straightened out from being on streaming.
As we're not, I think even just the general population, we're not even aware of the technology that is currently available. And some of it's kind of leaked in the last month about just how advanced some of this AI is as far as creating scripts and letters, right? And sales pitches. And if now we can automate it to a speaking voice because of the AI. And so we could have a salesperson that's making sales calls for us all day and all night. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, look at these deep fakes. You could have Tom Cruise sitting here doing your presentation and it's a fake. That's the deep fake Tom Cruise. It's crazy what they can do now. And it's literally only going to get better because think about how like bad some of that stuff was just even in like the 2000s when it was like at its peak and just how much it's advanced since then. It's everywhere. It's going to keep getting everywhere. It'll be cool, but
and Bree,
it's going to be crazy.
I'll at least say, you know, as far as kind of studying up on copyright law, the tricky part is that copyright law is still so old. We are literally
That's what I'm
decades
saying.
behind where things are at. I mean, even just with music, right? So from right now, you have platforms like YouTube and Facebook that are working out deals with record labels to basically facilitate payment to the people that own the music, because everyone just uses sounds, right? You just easily use a sound and use it for your video, and it's very difficult for enforcement. And it would be silly to enforce and be like, hey, you're using this viral holy or unholy by, you know, Sam Smith, right? And you know, we want you to stop. No, they're not going to do that. It makes more sense to monetize and figure out a way around. But copyright law in itself says this is all copyright infringement.
Think about it. They're telling you in it, it's going viral. It's a virus. Like the way that this is all like they're literally telling you what it's doing. The reason why it goes viral is because it's a virus. And it is going through your system and we can't keep up with it. It's like it's very hard once the virus starts spreading and multiplying and just doing all these things. Like think about how everything spiders out. That's what it's doing. And that's why things like copyright law and these new things like your TikToks and your videos, it's going to be hard to keep up because once that gets figured out, the next thing comes along. And then the next thing, they're already planning on it to prepare for when this thing gets shut down. No, it's crazy. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So for those of you just filing in, we're having a we're talking about aliens and AI. So in any case, we will be keeping an eye on all of the strangers we meet who could be aliens.